Today you are going to learn how to design a beautiful and modern website that truly resonates with your target audience through a step-by-step tutorial. I will show you how to take a super simple brief and transform it into this beautiful and modern homepage design. And because our mission at UX Peak is to help you become a UX UI design pro, we've prepared the source file for this tutorial that you can download for free from the description below. This is a step-by-step tutorial lesson from our UX UI Design Mastery course, which is a top design course packed with many other amazing step-by-step tutorials, strategies, resources, tips, and tricks that you need to know about. Use the link in the description or simply search www.uxpeak.com and start your journey to become a true UX UI design pro. As a special bonus, use the exclusive code PRIDE50 to get an incredible 50% off your purchase. But act fast, it's a time-limited offer for a few students only. The best part is, at the end of completing the course, you'll receive this shiny certificate of completion with your name that you can share on your LinkedIn or CV to show your accomplishment. And stay tuned because I'll also reveal the one feature that every music company's homepage desperately needs but often forgets. Okay, are you ready? The brief for this project is to create a landing page for a fictional music streaming company called Pride. Pride offers an ad-free platform with millions of songs that is web-based for now, with the option to pre-download the mobile version. The target audience is young adults between the ages of 16 and 26 who are into dance, hip-hop, rock, and R&B. The purpose of the homepage is to convert visitors into signups for the Pride and free platform. Before we dive into the design process, it's important to understand the problem you're trying to solve and the people you're solving it for. By researching your target audience, you'll learn about their needs, motivations, and frustrations, which will inform your design decisions. You can gather this information by looking at current trends, competitor websites, forums, groups, and reviews, or even better, by conducting user research and speaking directly with potential users. Okay, let's start our process by summarizing a few assumptions about the target users that we will work with. Our target users are both male and female. They are 16 to 26 years old. They are interested in dance, hip-hop, rock and R&B music genres. The majority of our users use desktop devices and are good with technology. Now that we have our assumptions clearly defined, we can start formulating our design decision. Everything we do from now on should be with focus on our target audience and the business objectives. We're now ready to think about the color palette, language, images, and content that we'll use on our website to appeal to our target audience. We want to make sure that we convert them into customers. For starters, we'll choose a bold and beautiful dark theme with the primary color of dark blue, which we'll use for the background. We chose a dark theme website because it's popular with our target age group and is also easier on the eyes during the evenings when our users are most active. To add a pop of energy and power, we select the primary red color for all call to actions. We can also add secondary colors of pink and blue to bring personality, uniqueness, and vibrancy to our brand. If you want to use the same color library template, you can find the link to this template below the video. Now let's populate the template with all the other colors that we're going to use on our website. We chose our colors by experimenting with different combinations and making sure they were easy to read and accessible. Once you have your chosen colors, you can define their use in the template right in this area. We can also create color styles, which we've covered in the previous module. As a reminder, if you have all your buttons red and you later decide to change red to green, you can simply change it in the color styles, and the color red will be replaced by green everywhere you use the color style. As you can see, once I changed the color in styles, the change was reflected in all places. In our web design, we'll also need transparent and gradient colors, so let's define those as well. Okay, we now have all colors we are going to use in the design. Let's create color styles. To create a color style first, select an object with your desired color. Then click on the 4 dots next to the fill option. A pop-up will appear with several options. Click on the plus icon and name your color. Once you're done, click the Create Style button and your style will be created. Instead of a color code, you will now see the name of your color. To change a color style, select the color and click on the Edit Style icon. To adjust the color, click on the colored square and make your changes. The updates will be automatically saved. If you need to detach a style for individual edits, hover over the color in the right panel and click the Detach Style icon. This will allow you to assign the element any color, but you will no longer be using the style, and any changes made to the text style will not be reflected in the detached version. Styles are most useful when the same color is used in multiple places. We will now create color styles for all the other colors. Great, now that we have the color styles ready, let's move on to the typography. For a strong impact on our target audience, we want to choose a font that is big, bold, and clean. For this, Enter is the perfect option. To make an even bigger impression, we can use larger text sizes. This typography style was chosen to appeal to our specific target audience, but it may not be appropriate for other websites with different audiences. Please note that these text styles are designed for large desktop displays. For smaller laptop screens, tablets, and phones, different text styles will be needed. Let's now set up all the different font sizes and weights we'll use for our website. For headings and subheadings, we'll follow the standard naming convention. When defining your typography, you'll adjust the font size, weight, and line height. While letter spacing can also be adjusted, it's not recommended for beginners as it can sometimes have a negative effect. For adjusting line height, use percentage values instead of set values. This way, as you scale up or down, the line height will always be proportional to your new size instead of being fixed in pixels. For headings, aim to have a line height between 110% and 130%, while for paragraph text, aim for 140% to 170%. Remember, the larger the text, the smaller the line height should be, and vice versa. For paragraphs, we'll have 3 different sizes. An optimal line height is around 150%, which enhances the overall aesthetic. We'll also include 3 UI label styles: semi-bold, medium, and regular. Similar to color styles, we'll create text styles to make future updates easier if we ever need to modify the text style. For example, if we decide to change the font size from 22 to 16 pixels, we can simply update the text style and have the changes reflected across the entire website. To create a text style, click on the 4 dots next to the text, add a name, and then click the Create Style button. We now need to create text styles for all the other headings, paragraphs, and UI labels. Finally, let's find some images to use in our design that will appeal to our target audience. We'll obtain these images from the premium paid image library on invito.com with a license to use them. To use these images in your projects, you'll need to download them from their website and obtain a license. You can find the links to the images in the Figma source file. Alternatively, you can use similar free copyright-free images from websites like unsplash.com or pexels.com. It's important to only use copyright-free images or images you have the right to use. Now that we have our colors, typography, and images set up, we can move to another part of this tutorial, designing the website. First off, we'll start by creating a frame for our design. You can think of a frame in Figma as an artboard and other design tools. It's a container that keeps all your elements in one place. Let's make a frame that's 1920 by 1080 pixels. Next, let's move on to the Heroes section. Here, we're going to introduce Pride. To see how it looks on a 1920 by 1080 pixel screen resolution, we'll make a duplicate. Then let's take our main frame and make it a bit larger. After that, we're going to change the background to our main black color and add the logo, which is available in the Assets section below this video. Then it's time to add the navigation links. We're going to use a UI label for these links and select the style from our text styles. You can duplicate the first link to speed up the process. Just hold the Option key and Shift on a Mac and drag the object. Or use the keyboard shortcuts Command+C and Command+V. Now, Let's change the link colors and create a button for the sign-up link. We're going to create an auto layout for the sign-up link by pressing Shift+A. Once we've done that, we will add a fill, adjust the horizontal and vertical padding, and add a 16-pixel corner radius. Now, select the login link and the sign up button and create another auto layout with 24 pixels horizontal gap between items. Now select all the other links and create another auto layout with 48 pixels horizontal gap between items. Finally, select the logo and the two auto layout and create one more auto layout with 386 pixels horizontal gap between items. We're at a good point now, so let's add a grid. This will help us make sure everything on the page is aligned just right. Click on the plus button to add a grid, and then adjust it by clicking on the grid icon. This will bring up a pop-up where we'll change the grid to columns, set the count to 4, and keep the stretch type. We'll add a margin of 200 pixels and adjust the gutter to 30 pixels. Next, let's return to our navigation, create an auto layout, and add a fill. We're going to add transparent color styles for both the fill and stroke. Let's add some horizontal and vertical padding and make sure our navigation aligns with the grid. Now, set the corner radius to 24 pixels and position the entire navigation 24 pixels from the top of the page. Now we're ready to add a heading, some paragraph text, and a call to action button. To speed things up, we'll style them using the color and text styles we created earlier. Now we'll need to create another button using auto layout. Set the horizontal padding to 60 pixels and vertical padding to 22 pixels. Add a fill, select the primary red color. Lastly, add a 16-pixel corner radius. While it's usually a good idea to name your layers, we're going to skip that in this tutorial to keep things moving. Don't worry, your template will come with named layers. If you need help with layer naming, there are plugins like AutoName and Rename It that can help. With our styles applied, let's align everything together. Next up, we'll generate a background blur. Start by creating a rectangle and changing its fill from solid to an angular gradient. We'll give it a slight rotation and incorporate our secondary pink and blue colors. Feel free to experiment with the position and opacity of these colors until you strike the right balance. Satisfied with the result? Great! Now, add a layer blur and set the value to approximately 190. A little adjustment might be needed. Now we're ready to add our hero image. We'll have to remove the background first, which can be done using Photoshop or a background removal tool like erase.bg. With the background out of the way, position the image just right. Let's flip the image horizontally so our title remains the focal point. Now let's create a rectangle and add a layer blur effect. This will make the hero image fade away smoothly. Now we'll position the title right in the middle and make sure it's aligned with the grid. Time for a quick prototype review. Great progress! Let's focus on the second section of our homepage, which will be focused on displaying 3 amazing and trending tracks of this week. Featuring the week's top 3 trending tracks on our homepage would boost engagement by keeping content fresh, encouraging exploration, and highlighting what's popular, effectively attracting and retaining visitors. Let's start with creating the title for the second section. We'll use the H2 text style, which is slightly smaller. Now copy the paragraph from the previous section and use dark gray color for the paragraphs. This will give us better contrast between the headings and the paragraphs. Let's also change the paragraph color in the hero section to dark gray. Now select the title and the paragraph and create an auto layout with a 32 pixel vertical gap between items. Next, we'll need 3 images from our image library. We'll make them 300 by 420 pixels, but we might need to crop some of them. There are a few ways to crop an image, but we'll show you 2 simple methods. One simple method is to hold down the Command key on a Mac and drag the image with your mouse to crop it. Another way is to double-click on the image. Figma will add 8 blue handles around the image. You can then choose how you want to crop the image by clicking and dragging the blue handles in any direction. Great! Now that our images are the same size, we can add a play icon from the image library and position it at the top of the image. However, when you create an auto layout, you'll see that you won't be able to easily position the icon in the middle anymore. Luckily, we can use absolute positioning. Select an object you want to place on top of another object, and in the right panel, select absolute positioning. This will let you place the object on top of another object and align it as you like. Now we'll do the same with the rest. Let's add more information now. We'll use H3 heading for the titles in white color. For the singer's name, we'll use a medium paragraph with dark gray color. For number of lessons, we'll use UI label regular in gray color. Now let's upload another icon for the number of listens. Group the icon by pressing Command+G and add an auto layout. Add 8 pixel padding from all sides and a transparent background. Lastly, apply a 25 pixel corner radius and change the color of the icon. We'll now need to create several auto layouts and adjust the spacing between layers. In this last auto layout, we'll add padding of 70 pixels from the top and bottom and 60 pixels from the left and right. We'll also add a transparent background color style and change the corner radius to 24 pixels. Finally, we'll add a transparent stroke style and a background blur with a value of 33. All done. To make things easier, create 2 copies and adjust the content accordingly. To copy an image, select the image, press Command+C, and then select the image you want to replace. Right-click on the image and click on Paste to replace. Do the same for the second card. We'll now adjust copy content for each. Great progress. Now let's connect all 3 cards through auto layout and select space between instead of packed. This allows the spacing between the cards to be dynamic based on the total width. We'll adjust the width of the auto layout so that it aligns with the grid. To make the layout a bit more interesting, we can add some extra bottom padding to the middle card to make it stand out more. To apply only bottom padding, click on the small icon next to the padding option. You'll see a controller to control padding from all sides. We'll also change the top alignment of all cards to center alignment and add a different background fill for the middle card. Next, we'll align our cards with the copy and create an auto layout with an 80-pixel vertical gap between items. Only one step left. Copy the background blur from the hero section and adjust the position and colors until you find the right balance. Great job, we've completed another section. Let's keep up the momentum and continue to work together to complete the remaining sections in the next videos. Welcome back. In this section, we're going to focus on displaying a variety of music genres on our website to appeal to our target audience. Our goal is to design an option for users to start listening to these libraries. In order to accomplish this, we will design a carousel that includes arrows, allowing users to browse through additional libraries. To start, let's copy our existing title and paragraph. Now change the alignment and the copy. And don't forget to make sure that the frame is aligned with the grid. Next, grab the arrow icon from the image library and create an ellipse that has a height and width of 55 pixels. Remove the fill and add a dark gray stroke with 2.2 pixel width. Create an auto layout and use absolute positioning to place the arrow icon in the center of the ellipse. Perfect. Now duplicate the entire arrow and rotate it like so. Now select the two arrows and add an auto layout with 24 pixel spacing between. Adjust the color of the arrows so it's clear that only one of the arrows is currently clickable. Now select everything in this section and create an auto layout with the space between property. Next, we'll add images to our carousel. We'll grab 4 images from our library and adjust their size to 358 by 490 pixels. If you come across any odd sizes like 490.48, don't worry, you can fix it by simply dragging the frame up and down by 1 pixel. You can also adjust the nudge amount in the settings for even more control. We will create 4 frames for our content by right-clicking on the image and selecting Frame Selection. Within each of these frames, we will include a library heading and the number of songs in each library. We will copy the existing text, change it, and then apply our text styles. We'll add a music icon to support our copy and align everything together. For the bottom part, we'll add a nice background blur to make the text on the image more accessible and readable. We'll change the frame's property to clip content to keep everything neatly inside the frame. We'll use a color from the image to match it nicely and add a layer blur with adjusted opacity. Next, we'll add the play button and position it slightly above the center. We'll align it with the rest of the content and then copy it over to the other frames. Then we'll just easily change the content for each frame. We will copy the background blur and adjust the color for each frame individually. Next, we will select all cards and create an auto layout with the property space between. This will nicely help us to make sure that everything is evenly spaced. Then select the last 3 cards and add a 24 pixel corner radius. Now it's time to create a beautiful shadow reflection. To do this, we will create a copy of the image and position it slightly below the image. We will apply blur with the value of 49. Then, we will create an auto layout between the shadow and frame. We can do the same for the rest of the images. We'll adjust the opacity until they have the same luminosity. Finally, we'll put everything together with the top part. Let's preview the design and see what progress we've made. Great job! That is looking great. We've just finished another section. Awesome! Let's step into our next exciting section, which we will call Trending Artists. This part is all about shining a light on the artists that everyone's buzzing about and their top tracks that are keeping our platform lively and exciting. Think of it as our way of showing just how vibrant and energetic Pride is, all through the eyes and ears of our community. We're going to keep things friendly and straightforward, using language that speaks directly to our users. We'll wrap our words in a design that feels like part of the family, consistent with everything else they've seen from us. Let's pick out the 5 cool artist images from our library. But we're not stopping there. We're giving them a little makeover, rounding those corners to transform them into perfect circles. We'll resize each image to 200 by 200 pixels, making them just the right size. And let's add a sprinkle of our magic. Alongside each artist's name, we'll include the number of tracks and a special feature link. Think of it as a warm invitation, a gentle nudge for our users to explore deeper and maybe even encourage them to join our community. We'll start by setting up an auto layout. This is our first step toward organizing our content beautifully. Let's apply our text and color styles to create an effective visual hierarchy. We'll use a slightly larger size for the artist names, as that's the most important information. For the number of songs, we'll use our gray color since this information is less critical, and we'll make the Explore button slightly more prominent to encourage exploration of those artists. We'll ensure there's enough room for everything to breathe by adding 32 pixels of horizontal padding and 40 pixels of vertical padding. We're setting the stage for our design elements to shine. Next, we're going for that sleek and modern vibe with a transparent background fill and stroke style. Now for the artist photo, this is where we want to draw the eye. We can add a shadow effect to give it some depth, making it stand out more. We can use the color picker tool to copy a color directly from the photo. We'll tweak the shadow values to ensure it's noticeable without overwhelming the photo. Now let's preview it properly and see whether we need to tweak something. Let's duplicate this card and change the photos and the contents. And here's a neat trick. We'll copy the background blur layer from the second section and adjust it until it matches our design beautifully. Finally, it's time to preview our design. Fantastic! We're making a great progress. Now, let's lock the layer to keep our design tidy. Simply click on the lock icon next to the layer name in the Layers panel. This will ensure everything stays in place as we work on other parts of our design. Next, we're going to bring all our cards together in harmony. Select them all and create an auto layout with the space between property. This keeps our cards neatly aligned and ensures they're in perfect sync with the grid. Now, let's sprinkle a bit of creativity into our layout. By creating an auto layout for the second and fourth card and applying an 80-pixel top pattern, we're adding a dynamic rhythm to our design. It's like we're playing with the visual flow, making the layout more engaging and unique. That looks so much better, doesn't it? The next step is to select the entire section, except for the background blur, and create another auto layout. This time we're going with 80 pixel spacing. It's all about giving our elements room to breathe and ensuring that our design feels open and inviting. If you had locked the background layer earlier, now's the time to unlock it. Just right-click on the background blur area, which will highlight the layer in the Layers panel. Click on the lock icon again to unlock it, and then you can adjust the layer's position as needed. Finally, let's add a finishing touch, a button at the end of this section. This button is a call to action for users to explore all the artists on the platform. We can easily copy the button from the first section of our page and update the text. The copy will be dynamic, meaning it will show exactly how many artists we have currently on the platform. Incorporating a See All Artists and the Number of Artists button significantly enhances user experience by introducing transparency and setting clear expectations. This method not only informs users of the breadth of content available, fostering a sense of abundance and choice, but also utilizes psychological triggers, encouraging users to explore further. By quantifying the options, it directly taps into users' curiosity, motivating them to click through and engage with more content. This approach can lead to increased time spent on the platform, deeper engagement, and higher conversion rates as users feel more informed and in control of their browsing experience. And just like that, we've wrapped up yet another beautiful section of our web design. Great job! We're moving on to an exciting part where we'll spotlight one of the current popular artists on the Pride platform and showcase their hit songs. Let's jump right in. We are going to spotlight an artist called Aria. She will be the face of this platform as we've already used her in our hero section. In the real world, this would be a popular artist that people love. First, let's grab Aria's picture from our image library. We want Aria to really stand out, so we're going to remove the background from her picture. As I've mentioned before, there are fantastic tools out there like erase.bg, remove.bg, or Adobe Express that can help you do this effortlessly and for free. Next up, we'll reuse the title and paragraph layout from the previous section but tweak the text to introduce Aria. We'll apply our styles we defined earlier. We'll share some interesting tidbits about her and emphasize that she's an exclusive artist on the Pride platform. This is our chance to make Aria's introduction as engaging as possible. Now let's create a spotlight for Aria's most loved song. We'll design each song as a mini feature, complete with a cover, title, artist name, and how long the song plays. Okay, we got the song titles and artist names ready. Now we can arrange them using an auto layout with a cozy 8-pixel spacing. This keeps everything neat and clean. For the song covers, we'll select 7 images from our library. The first image needs to be square, so let's crop it accordingly. By framing this cropped image and duplicating the frame, we can efficiently manage the other images without having to crop each one individually. Just slide the second image into the new frame, adjust, and then remove the original. Repeat this for the rest and resize each image to a crisp 80 by 80 pixels. We will also nicely round the corners of each image to make it nicely modern and friendly. Now take the first song image and details we've prepared and arrange them into an auto layout, tweaking alignment and spacing until it's just perfect. We can then borrow the play button from a previous section, scale it down to fit our design. And add the song duration with a comfortable 24-pixel spacing between elements. Let's create another auto layout for all of these elements, setting the spacing to space between. We'll duplicate this frame for each of the 6 songs, updating the covers and details accordingly. We'll use auto layout to make sure each card has equal spacing, creating a visually appealing grid. For the finishing touches, we'll select all the elements within the card and wrap them in another auto layout, this time with 40-pixel spacing and generous padding of 40 pixels on the sides and 60 pixels on the top and bottom. We'll apply a transparent background and stroke style for a sleek look. Then we'll soften the edges with a 24-pixel corner radius. We'll add a background blur effect with a 48 value to achieve that trendy glassy effect. We'll align everything nicely and wrap the entire composition in an auto layout. Now, for a bit of flair, let's experiment with a gradient background blur. This might take a few tries, but it's all about finding that perfect blend that makes our design pop. If something doesn't quite look right, we're free to tweak until it's absolutely perfect. Let's take a moment to preview our work. And would you look at that? It has turned out amazing. Fantastic effort. That is looking good. Moving forward in our Figma tutorial, we're tackling an essential feature for any website, the sign up section for the newsletter. In this next step, we'll incorporate a newsletter sign-up form right on the home page, ensuring it's a breeze for visitors to subscribe to the company's updates. We'll kick things off with a catchy title, "Don't Miss a Beat," paired with a compelling description that outlines the benefits of subscribing. Writing compelling UI design copy for your website, including newsletter banner, is crucial for boosting conversions on your website. It's not just about informing visitors, it's about engaging them, sparking interest, and making the action of signing up irresistible. Good copy highlights the value they'll receive by subscribing. This clarity and appeal can significantly increase the likelihood of visitors taking action, directly impacting your website's conversion rates. Keep it concise, clear, and focused on the benefits to the user, and you'll see more visitors turning into subscribers. To organize the title and the description, we will create an auto layout with the spacing between them of 32 pixels. We will adjust the horizontal resizing properties of the title and paragraph to fill container. The entire frame will be set to 618 pixels wide to align perfectly with the grid. Next, we'll select the headphone image from our library, positioning it to the right side of our text. By removing any unnecessary elements from the image, we will make the image stand out more with a transparent background. Ensuring the image maintains its original charm, we'll lock the aspect ratio by selecting the constrained proportions icon. Then we will adjust its width to 576 pixels. Directly below our enticing text, we'll introduce an email field for visitors to input their addresses. The subscribe button will come next. We will design it by using the send icon from our image library and borrowing the background design for the play button. We will simply replace the play icon with the send icon. To bring it all together, we will create an auto layout between the email field and the subscribe button, setting the spacing to 24 pixels. Then, grouping both together, we'll create a new auto layout with a 56 pixel gap. Adding one more layer of auto layout, we'll add horizontal padding of 138 pixels and vertical padding of 40 pixels. After adding a fill and adding the image into our auto layout, we'll shift the direction to horizontal and arrange the components as needed. We will transition the background's color from solid to linear, which create a subtle fade effect, enhancing the aesthetic appeal. We'll round off the corners of the main frame to 32 pixels to maintain consistency with the overall design style we have been using throughout the website. We'll adjust the spacing property to space between, which will allow us to fine-tune the frame width. This will help us to fit our frame to the grid precisely. For an intriguing visual touch, we want the image to slightly exceed the bounds of its container, achieved through absolute positioning and modifying the frame properties. Now we will work on the positioning and spacing until we get it just right. As we approach the final section of our homepage, the footer, we're setting the stage for convenient navigation for website visitors. Starting with copying the logo and sign up button from the navigation bar, we'll divide the footer into 3 columns. Get started, account, and pride. Each column will be labeled using the text style UI label, with titles in a darker shade of gray and list items in a lighter shade to enhance visibility and clickability. I will now add quickly a few links to different pages of the Pride website. We will use auto layout to bring everything nicely together and space elements appropriately. For the next portion, we'll add a brief description of Pride and links to social media, followed by a line divider. The last section of the footer will feature copyright information, links to privacy-related content, and crucial legal details, all aligned and spaced correctly. Next up, we'll use an auto layout between the second and last sections of the footer. This will help us keep everything neatly organized and aligned. To ensure a cohesive look, we'll adjust the line divider, making it slightly shorter so that it matches the width of the last section perfectly. This small detail adds to the overall polish and professionalism of our design. Before we finalize everything, we'll ensure the homepage sections are spaced adequately, making any necessary adjustments for perfect alignment. To wrap up, a background blur will be applied to our navigation for a sleek finish. Now, let's take a moment to preview our final design. Take a step back and admire the incredible work we've done together if you have been following along. Fantastic job! Through this tutorial, you've gained valuable knowledge and skills to design visually appealing homepage designs confidently. If you've been following along or are feeling inspired to give it a go yourself, now's your chance to create something similar or even better. Below, you'll find a link where you can submit your creation. We're eager to see what you've come up with. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial as much as I did. I will see you in the next one.